Hi, and welcome back to another episode. This one is for those of you who are done with burnout and ready to thrive on your own terms, and for anyone who's ever felt like they're the problem. Maybe you've been feeling exhausted, unmotivated, emotionally stretched too thin. And instead of seeing those responses as signs that something outside of you might be off, you've turned inward, blaming yourself for not being resilient enough, not productive enough, or not doing enough. Well, let's just pause right there for a moment and take a breath. Because you're not broken. You're having a normal response to a deeply unsustainable system. We live in a world that's built around patriarchal, capitalist, and ableist systems. Systems that reward overwork, hustle, perfectionism, and constant output. Systems that were never designed with your well-being in mind. They don't value softness, rest, or difference, and often punish or dismiss neurodivergence, disability, or simply being human. So when you feel like you're falling short, it's most likely not because you're doing something wrong. It's more likely because the system you're trying to survive in wasn't built to support you in the first place. This leads me to the big lie that so many of us have internalized, the fix yourself narrative. You've probably heard it in some form. Just do more mindset work, learn to be more resilient, wake up earlier, be more disciplined. It goes on and on and on. But do you know what? You don't need fixing. You need support. You need to work and live in a way that suits who you are. And you need to stop carrying the responsibility for things that were never yours to hold. Yes, you're responsible for understanding yourself and for showing up for yourself, for making decisions that align with your values, for healing where you can, and caring for your needs. But you are not responsible for systemic oppression, for unrealistic expectations placed on you by others, for economic instability, for racism, ableism, sexism, or any of the other structural forces that shape our lives. So when you find yourself wondering, why can't I just keep up? I invite you to take a breath and ask yourself instead, what am I trying to keep up with? And who told me that was the standard? The goal isn't to give up and not care. It's to reclaim your voice, your time, your energy, and your agency. That allows you to validate your experience and reclaim your power. Because once you stop fighting yourself, you can start questioning the rules. And maybe even rewriting them. So here's your gentle, reflective question for today. Where have you been blaming yourself for something that might actually be a systemic issue? Let that question sit with you. Perhaps journal on it. Talk it through with someone who feels safe. And remember, the more you recognize what's not yours to carry, the lighter you'll feel, the freer you become. You're not broken. You're brilliantly human, navigating a world that needs to do better. Go well and go gently, my friend. And if this episode resonated, share it with someone else who could also do with this reminder. You never know who's waiting to hear that they're not alone. And as always, feel free to drop into my inbox and let me know how you're going. I'll see you again next week. Bye.